Okay, so we're going to jump straight into Minotaur after finishing up Lizardman. And I have a Minotaur character, and they're okay. They were fun. They have horns, brown furry appearance, and there's multiple ways to interpret this. Like white center and then surrounded by brown, or there's some people that go really deep into costuming and they have like very good painting skills that I do not possess, and they make there's ways to make Minotaur paint look good. So horns, which can be tough to represent, horns can be tough to represent, especially when you're running around in combat and you're going through the whole day for 24 hours. And a tail again. This is the second tail race I think that we've seen. Maybe do gargoyles have tails? No. I I have a suspicion that gargoyles have tails though. I'm pretty sure I've seen gargoyles with tails. Anyway, oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta look like a minotaur. Uh, they are so they're not humans and they're not bulls. Very specific in this specific universe. So sometimes there's like in the regular world, the idea of a minotaur comes from Greek literature with a half bull, half human being that was like some Greek story. And in this case, that's not the case. They are not half human and they are not half bull. That's not how they are. They are their own independent race. So calling them bull people or something in game is not going to go over well. Um, they are very well mannered and very well educated. Uh, they're pretty cool. They have a very specific social culture. I'm pretty sure it's a females run thing culture. Yeah, so like the male minotaurs are literally just like the frontline guys, and they do all the hard, all of the fighting and stuff, and then like the girls are out back like leading everything else. So they're doing all the diplomacy and they're doing all the stuff. It's cool. I played a minotaur for 1 or 2 games, and it was okay. And being roleplay, and man, I remember that event. That event was super fun. It was a feast event. And physical tasks, while the females giving birth, raising the young, the females are also the one in charge of the organization and command during times of war. So they're like the female minotaurs are like strategists, and strategy and really using your brain to be a fighter is like what minotaurs are all about. So these are the intricately, uh, if you've spent time in a martial art or a boffer specific game like Dagger here or Belagarth, which I've also done, there are individuals who are very like tactical. They're like, yeah, so I shifted my foot weight over here because I knew he was gonna throw this shot, and then I countered that by X, Y, and Z. If you're that type of person, Minotaurs is what you want to play. They're very thoughtful warriors. They're very thoughtful warriors. Uh, there's also some cool lore about them. There was a period of time where there were like 3 Minotaurs in town and they all hung out with each other and they all played with each other. And I remember them playing for like a year or two, like pretty regularly. And it was cool because Minotaurs are the only race so far that we've seen that is incentivized through their skills to use two-handed weapons. And man, two-handed weapons are cool. So like glaive fighting is a Minotaur specific thing. And oh man, are you gonna see why glaives are super good and like long weapons are really good here. Spears not so much. I wouldn't recommend using spears. Stabbing people is a really quick way to get people hurt. But like long weapons that are two-handed are really cool with minotaurs, and we're gonna get into why. So athletics 6. So 5 times 6. I'm gonna do basic math here because I don't want to look like an idiot. 30. 30 build or 30 body, pretty good. Enhanced strength 4, so they're like middle. They're not flesh golem or gargoyle strong, but they're pretty strong. That's stronger than a lot of the races that have only 2. So you're gonna be attacking a lot. Resist charm, just like elves. Uh, Again, really good. Sleep doesn't get you. Resist disease, resist poison. They also have resist sleep specifically. Bonus two-handed weapons, +1 damage. So, and the thing is too, is that when you're using a two-handed weapon and you have enhanced strength, you're applying a 1-to-1 ratio for your strength to damage, right? So when you have 1 strength, you're putting 0.5 into each hand. So if you have a sword, which base swings 2, and you swing with your sword when you have 1 strength, you're still doing 2 damage. When you put 2 hands on that sword, you're doing 3 damage. When you have 2 strength, you're doing 4 damage if you have both hands on the sword, right? So this is a +4 damage when you're holding a two-handed weapon. So you're getting +4, 5. You're getting a +5 flat to a two-handed weapon. So that's like pretty good. That's super good. So and two-handed weapons already have base higher than 2 because a basic sword is 2. So, and I'm pretty sure the longer weapons they have like higher base damages. So it might be like you're starting at 4 and then adding 5, so your base swing is like 9 when you're walking in, which is super amazing, super good. Gets past most of the threshold stuff. Ancestral Rage is really fun. I 3 build for 3 of these. It's pretty cheap for what it does. 25 body and 4 strength. So you're getting another 4 damage on top of that. So you're doing like 5. You're doing like 9 for one of these. Plus 25 body. If the loss would cause you to drop to 0, you're instead reduced to 1, so you don't die from like having extra body for temporarily. Super good. And you get to do this 3 times. And man, dude, when I played my Minotaur, it was so much fun to yell, Ancestral Rage! Sorry. It was so much fun to yell that and just like be angry and mad and go into combat. And I was like a Scottish Minotaur, so I had like a kilt, and I felt very warrior like. It was fun. They get +10 versus undead, just like Elder Kesserin do. And I think in the lore, I don't think this is the case anymore. Yeah, so in the old rulebook, oh no, here it is. Because of this, Minotaurs and ghouls have a difficult time being in the local tavern together without bloodshed. So Minotaurs hate ghouls for some reason. I'm pretty sure ghouls don't care about Minotaurs, but Minotaurs don't like ghouls. And my brother, if you watch the rest of this video, plays a ghoul character. So when I played a Minotaur, I got to roleplay being like really mean to him, and it was okay. It really wasn't the funnest part of my day, to be honest. It was and like not being able to hang out with my brother for an event sucked. So, don't have a ghoul in your party if you're gonna come play with a bunch of friends. So because yeah, Minotaurs are aware that ghouls are not undead, even though they tend to be cannibals. Minotaurs are very curious though, so they don't like undead things, and ghouls hover like they really don't like undead things, and ghoul hovers around that line of what is undead. They specifically are not undead, but they're really close to the line. And so they attract the ire of Minotaurs. Battle Balance. Oh boy, this is an amazing skill. Battle Balance is really, really good. When this ability is called, you may strike for the exact same weapon strike that your opponent has last struck you with for combat duration against that opponent only. This is not called in response to the attack, but rather is initiated and similar to Dance of the Adept. And don't worry about what Dance of the Adept is. So if somebody swings Slay at you, and you have a valid defense against Slay, you go defense, battle balance, and now your base swing against that person is Slay. So I don't care if you were base swinging like 11 or 12 or something, but you now just get to say Slay a ton of times for free. It's amazing. I promise you, when battle balance has been casted or used in a fight, it goes dummy hard. Like, it is a really good skill. Because typically somebody throwing out a gigantic fight ender, and I mean Slay isn't that big of a gigantic fight ender, but like Slay typically is gonna kill somebody. So when you get to defend against Slay and then call battle balance, and the thing is too is I think last struck you with, so there's you would want to go figure out if you have to take the Slay or not, because you have to take, and this is nerfed battle balance, because battle balance used to read that somebody hits you, you can defend against it, and then you call battle balance, and that's your base swing for the rest of the combat regardless. And so now battle balance is, I'm pretty sure they have to actually hit you with it, which means that you have to take it. So if somebody throws Slay, you have to have some sort of defensive, you have some sort of Slay, you have to take a Slay. which that might suck. So maybe it doesn't work against Slay anymore. But if somebody goes like, here's 150 poison, this is still just as good. Um, and you only get to do it against that guy that did it. Which I mean, you typically kill that person pretty quick. So maybe this isn't amazing as I used to think it is, but this used to be like top tier. It was super cool, and when it happened, man, it was sick. So like when somebody throws like there was a time I remember, and it was that group of Minotaurs that were playing that I told you about earlier. They there was some dude who like threw a radius slay. Like he was doing like like sword radius slays, so anybody in my general vicinity is eating a slay. And there was a Minotaur there, and he went defense, battle balance, and he was swinging radius slays for like 10 minutes in an amazing mod, and he just rocked it, dude. He crushed it. And that is like what I think of when I think of battle balance. And so unfortunately it got nerfed, and it's for a good reason. Battle balance had to be one of the best skills in the game, to be completely honest. Like it was really strong. But yeah, we spent a lot of time on battle balance. It's just, nostalgia for me. It's pretty cool. Immune to fear. This is okay. This is pretty good. There's a lot of times where fear, there's like nightmare. You'll be fighting ghostly nightmares or something, and they'll throw exclusively a bunch of fear attacks with their damage. And being immune to fear is cool because there's a lot of like scary death monsters that go like voice radius fear, which means if you heard me yell, that means you take a fear effect. And being immune to stuff like that, especially in adventure, is really cool because what it means is that also has the hidden text of when everyone else is feared, you're not feared, and you're the guy that gets to unfear people. Because there's some, I don't know if you shake them out of their fear, or you can cast Awaken, or some other stuff. There's other ways to get rid of fear effects, but you're not feared, so it's your responsibility to go unfear people. Which is super good, especially for 3 build. Pounce lets you double. Pounce is an okay skill. You get to do it once. Oh wait. Oh, for each opponent you face. Oh, that's sick. So if you spend like weapon mastery to do like 100 damage, you can, and you don't, I don't think you have to call anything, but they just, because a lot of this game is on honor, so they just assume that you're doing it right. And so if you go like, I'm spending, I don't know how much it actually is, but like let's say I'm spending 3 weapon mastery to do 100 damage. I don't know if that's the actual ratio or not, but let's say you're spending 3 weapon mastery to do 100 damage. You just get to do a pounce, so you just say 200 damage. You get to double it, and you get to do it once for each opponent that you attack. And this isn't like somebody dies, some monster dies, they respawn. That respawned monster is a different monster, and thus you can pounce on them too. Elder pounce. So like I think non-elder pounce is like an individually, like you can pounce like 10 times and you have to buy it each time. Elder pounce is like you get to do it against each opponent, which is super sweet. Because even if you're just base swinging 10 and you get a double it to 20, that's still really good for free too. Like you just do it for 5 build. This is okay. Shoulder block is a funny meme. Shoulder block is really cool. You get to stomp your foot towards an enemy, turn your shoulder to them. So obviously don't shoulder. It's effectively what it represents is shoulder checking somebody. However, uh, so shoulder check is a strengths based skill, kind of. It's a, do you have the strength to resist this? And a lot of people don't, because you are base 4 and you're probably battle raging, which is giving you your ancestral rage, which is giving you another 4. So you're like base 8 strength. Okay, which 8, like we've talked about it, you have to be like an elder gargoyle or like an elder flesh golem to be even anywhere close to that. Which, that's not really a whole lot of what you're going to be fighting. Where are we at? So you go shoulder block, 8 strength, and then 10 feet. They fly backwards 10 feet per point of strength. So they fly backwards 80 feet. And if you understand how being launched X amount of distance is portrayed as like falling, it goes into the falling damage and the environmental damage type of stuff and like how things work. So you're going to want to look into that stuff if you are using the skill. they're gonna take damage. They take 80. It's like you take like 1 damage per foot or something. So if you're going with 8 strength, they're going shoulder block 8 strength, and they don't have 8 strength to say resist, because it doesn't matter if you have 6 strength. You have to have 8 or more to be able to say resist with strength. If they don't have that, then they're getting launched 80 feet backwards, and they're taking like 80 body, like ignoring armor, which will typically kill something. It's really good. Now, yeah, it's possible to reduce. Oh, so you can. Okay, so yeah, if they do have 6 strength, then they reduce it by 6 and they take 20 feet, which is still good. Still good. Still good. Uh, this skill may be stopped with avoidance skills. So dodge, phase, those are the two. I don't really know much about other avoidance skills, but dodge and phase can deal with that. But other stuff can't. There's no like, oh, I'm master deflecting your shoulder block. Then you don't do that. You like it's dodge or die, dodge or phase. Um, so this skill is really good. This is really cool, and a lot of monster like bears have this skill. I'm pretty sure. Like generic NPC bear has this. Really good skill. And it's cool because you don't like, as far as we've seen, we haven't seen anything really that interacts with strength a whole lot. We're gonna see some strength based stuff in the goblinoid races, but we'll get to that. They have unaffected by charm, unaffected by sleep, unaffected by poison, unaffected by disease. One build, one build, one build, one build. For 4 build, you become immune to charm sphere, sleep, poison, and disease. It's just amazing. And obviously, well, it's not technically one build because you spent however much it is to get resist diseases, so it's like 6 per to get, because you need to buy 3 of these to get the elder skill. So you buy 6 per, 6, 12, 18, 20, is it 6? No, 22, and then plus another 1, 2, 3, 4. So 26 build to get all that. That's pretty okay. I'd pay 26 build to be immune to all 4 of those things. And then affinity two-handed weapons. You may not be disarmed, and you swing for another +2. So getting your base swing up is pretty cool. The reason you're playing is an Elder Minotaur is for shoulder block, pounce, immune to fear. Oh, also, I mean, all of these skills are why you're playing Elder Minotaur, man. Elder Minotaur is sick. It's the reason why I was playing the Minotaur, because I thought Minotaurs were cool and battle balance back then was busted. It's not as busted now, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, that was Minotaurs.